Good afternoon. Very warm welcome to those of us who have joined today for the third session of the Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram's series on prana as the life breath of sadhana, theoretical foundations across traditions. Well, we give a special welcome to those who are joining us for the first time for an event at the Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram. For those who have joined for the first time, here is a brief introduction. The Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram was founded in 1976 by Shri T.K.V. Desikachar, son and disciple of Shri Thirumalai Krishnamacharya, a pioneering foundational figure in yoga in 20th century India. And besides events like this one, the activities of the Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram include yoga therapy, which is one-on-one customized therapy for children and adults offered in Chennai, and programs, workshops, teaching programs, especially the yoga teacher training program and the yoga therapist training program, which are postgraduate diplomas offered by the Mandiram. Besides, there are a number of outreach programs with schools in the city, and there is a publications and research department as well. Speaking of research, both applied research and textual research projects are undertaken by the Mandiram, and a resource of particular interest here is the KYM Yoga Vaisharadi, which has a number of foundational yoga texts as well as their commentaries. This year, the KYM has been conducting a number of events on prana and pranayama, which are very fundamental and significant elements of yoga and the Bharatiya Jnana Parampara in general. From March 8th to April 6th, we had a 5-week online guided workshop series, which is conducted by teachers and therapists of the Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram. And this included a very panoramic view with exercises of pranayama, starting from breath in movement, how pranayama relates to asana, niceties and finer points of pranayama, including bandhas, ratios, all the way to integrating chanting, mantra, bhavana, and also applications in ritual and therapy. After this online series, there was a 2-day live conference in Chennai conducted on April 13th and 14th. This was a live conference, and this featured speakers speaking on pranayama in yoga, including Hatha Yoga, also Ayurveda and biomedical engineering, with case studies by KYM teachers as well. Besides, in keeping with the KYM's activities, which include both an applied and a textual component, there were also talks on pranayama in the Vedic corpus and in Dharma Shastra. Continuing with that educational experience has been this series, Pranayama as the Life Breath of Sadhana. Some of you would have attended the opening 2 sessions in this series. Now, in the Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram, Sri Thirumalai Krishnamacharya taught yoga grounded in a specific tradition. However, he taught to people of all traditions, and likewise this series too has coverage of the diversity and variety of traditions in the Bharatiya Jnana Parampara. We have heard talks from the text Shivaswarodaya. We have heard from the Shakta tradition, and today it's very appropriate that this gathering is on a day which is observed in the Shaiva tradition as the Advent day of Sri Tirunjana Sambandhamurti, who is one of the Nayanmar saints and a very foundational figure in the Shaiva tradition. And it's a fortunate coincidence in keeping with the diversity of sampradayas that are being showcased that today is a day also observed as the Advent day of Sri Adi Shankaracharya and also of Bhagavan Rama, Bhagavad Ramanujacharya. And for good measure, it's also being celebrated as the Advent day of the Bhakti saint poet Surdas ji. It's our honor today to have an eminent scholar from the Shaiva tradition speaking to us on prana and pranayama. I will introduce the speaker shortly. Just some housekeeping. We request all attendees to stay muted and also, if possible, turn on your videos during the lecture so that we can maintain an interactive vibe. At the end of the lecture, we can have Q&A where we will request you to raise your hands for Q&A. It's my pleasure now to introduce our speaker for the day, Dr. T. Ganesan. Dr. T. Ganesan, with a PhD in Sanskrit, has been working as Director of Research at the prestigious French Institute Pondicherry. Since 1985, and he continues to be a research associate there. He's working on a comprehensive history of the Shaivagamas, comprehensive history of Shaiva Siddhanta, and in Tamil Nadu, as well as a project on the critical edition of the Shaivagamas. He's one of the editors of the Sukshmagama, 3 volumes published and 4th volume under preparation, published by the French Institute Pondicherry. The first 2 volumes of the Paushkaragama, along with 2 unpublished commentaries of Umapati and Jnana Prakasha, critically edited by him for the first time, have been published by the National Mission of Manuscripts, New Delhi in 2014 and 2020. Shivajnana Bodha Sutra with the Laghu Tika of Shivagra Yogi, Siddhanta Prakashika of Sarvatma Shambhu with Tamil and English translations published 2009, Shivajnana Bodha Sutra with the unpublished commentary of Nigamajnana Deshika published 2009 by Rashtriya Sanskrit Samsthana, and a few other Shaiva Siddhanta texts are some of the important Shaiva texts critically edited by him. 2 Shaiva teachers of the 16th century, Nigamajnana 1 and Nigamajnana 2, was published by IFP in 2009. He has presented more than 40 seminar papers and research articles concerning Shaivism and Shaiva Siddhanta. He has delivered special lectures concerning various aspects of Shaiva Siddhanta at the Tamil University, Tanjavur, Pondicherry University, University of Madras, as well as universities at Sorbonne, Paris, and Marburg, Germany. 2 articles of 10,000 words each on the Shaiva Siddhanta and on the Shaiva Agamas were published in the volumes of the Brill's Encyclopedia of Hinduism in 2011 and 2018. Presently, Dr. Ganesan heads the Center for Shaiva Studies Pondicherry as its academic director. It's now my honor to invite Dr. Ganesan to speak on prana and pranayama in the Shaiva tradition.
At the beginning, I express my sincere thanks for inviting me to present a brief paper on the topic of prana and pranayama in the Shaiva tradition. to the Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram. And I also congratulate the organizers of this online seminar, including my close friend Arvind and others, for selecting such a very important topic, not much explored topic from the traditional yoga scriptures. So it is a very good idea and a good opportunity for me to present a few points on the prana, the concept of prana and the practice of pranayama in the Shaiva tradition. I confine myself at the beginning to the Shaiva Siddhanta tradition. At the end, I will add a few points from the other Agama traditions. So I select a few gems from the ocean of the Shaiva Agamas on the concept of yoga, which and the prana and the pranayama, because it is some are published, some Agama texts, but others still remain in manuscripts. So Yoga Pada in the Shaiva Agamas. There are 5 Agamas, in fact, not 4. The Kirana Agama, Suprabheda Agama, Mrigendra Agama, Matanga Parameshwara Agama, and the Sarvajnanottara Agama. They have separate divisions called Yoga Pada.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Could you please move to the slide you were speaking about? I think you're speaking of the second slide.
Yes. 1 minute. I will. Is it now okay? Visible?
Please continue, sir.
Visible?
Yes. Please continue.
So these are the 5 Agamas which have separate chapters and even divisions of Yoga Pada, where they deal with all aspects of Shaiva Yoga. And there is another Agama, Achintya Vishwasadakya Agama, which has a chapter on Yoga Diksha, which is a form of special Diksha. And the concept of prana and the practice of pranayama play a very important and fundamental role in the Shaiva rituals and separate yoga practices. Apart from these agamas, there are other agamas where they deal in passing or in the course of their dealing with the rituals, some of the yoga concepts in a few verses or a group of verses, like that. So I mainly focus today's lecture on the Mrigendra Agama, Matanga Parameshwara Agama, and the Sarvajnanottara Agama. And a few years back, I have critically edited for the first time the commentary of Aghora Shivacharya, who belonged to the 12th century and who lived in Tamil Nadu, and who is a great Shaiva Acharya. He has composed commentaries on all the 4 parts of the contents of the Yoga Pada of all other available Shaiva Siddhanta Agamas. So very, very briefly, but in the importance of yoga in the Shaiva daily rites, I give you an deep introduction of the importance of the Shaiva yoga in the daily rites. Then I go into the prana and pranayama and how they are dealt with in some of the agamas. So the Aghora Shivacharya says in his commentary on the Sarvajnanottara Agama, even when, this is the commentary of Narayana Kantha on the Mrigendra Agamas Yogapada. There he says, even when one knows fully adept in the jnana, the doctrinal section of the Shaiva Agamas and the rituals. Jnana Kriya Kramajnana api Sadhaka Putraka Acharyanam Samadhi and Samadhi and other abhyasas, yoga abhyasas are very essential, and without the performance of the Samadhi and others, he cannot progress in his spiritual practice. So the the practice of yoga is essential. For the practice of the all yoga practices, pranayama is the very important anga. Pranayama anga sahite yoga jnaptaye yoga padakrama. So in order to understand the yoga and the pranayama, etc., the yoga is very essential. So any initiated Shaiva, the yogas and in the of the Shaiva system. So that much importance in the yoga that plays in the life of a Shaiva initiate. Apart from the special practices of yoga, such as various dharanas, there are 4 dharanas which are expounded in the Yoga Pada. The pranayama plays a very important role, and at every point in his daily ritual, as well as in the special ritual in the temple, pranayama is a very important a foundational one. And what are the yoga? What is yoga in the Shaiva system? What is its aim, purpose? The Sarvajnanottara says, Atma dhyata manodhyanam dhyeya sukshmo maheshwaraha yat paraparam aishwaryam etat dhyana prayojanam. So Atma, the individual self, is the dhyata, the person who meditates. That is, who meditates, performs the samadhi, as well as pranayama and all other yoga angas. And manodhyana, and through his mind, the dhyana is performed. So mind plays a very important role in the dhyana. And dhyeyaha, the object to be meditated, is Maheshwaraha, the Supreme Lord Parameshwara, who is the subtle, and who is so subtle and all pervasive. And what is the main fruit or gain obtained by the practice is Paraparam Aishwaryam, the supreme power, and which are divided as para and apara, and which are the details in the Shaivagamas. So such a supreme power is obtained by the sincere, regular practice of yoga, especially dhyana and others. So this is the purpose of the yoga in the Shaivagama. Now, coming to the various limbs of the Shaiva yoga, the Mataka Parameshwara Agama gives 6 angas, Shadanga, and the Mrigendra Agama gives Saptanga, which I will tell later. Pratyaharaha tatha dhyanam pranayamascha dharana tarkashaiva samadhischa Shadangani yoga uchyate. So the regular yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dhyana, enlisted by Patanjali in the sutra, they are not strictly followed here. So the yoga anga list starts with pratyahara, dhyana, pranayama, dharana, tarka, and samadhi. And what about the yama and niyama? They are not important? No. Yama and niyama are the regular, standard, fundamental practices of all Shaiva Dikshitas initiates. So they do not form separate anga. They are the basis. So they are not included as a special anga in the yoga. That is why we get the 6. Then we find the tarka, which is special to Shaiva tradition. Tarka is included as one of the angas. In the another, the Mrigendra Agama, Japa is included as one of the angas. So that is, these are special one. And Tarka mainly concerns with the intellect. So that is explained in the commentary. Let us not go deep into that, which is a separate one. So they here just to show that what are the angas of yoga in the Shaiva Agama, Shaiva Siddhanta tradition. I have the Matanga Parameshwara Agama verse. This is Sharanga Yoga. Then Saptanga Yoga in the Mrigendra Agama. Pranayama, Pratyaharo, Dharana, Dhyana, Vikshane, Japaha, Samadhihi iti Angani. They are 7. Angi Yogo Ashtamasvayam. So the yoga, the Angi. So that is the Angi, that which is the main one, for which these 7 are the Angas. They are the pranayama, etc. There we find the pranayama as the first one. And Vikshana is the same as Tarka, which we find in the Matanga Parameshwara Agama list. Here we have the Vikshana. So, and Japa is one more, included one more Anga. Now, so much about the Angas of yoga in the Shaiva Agama text. Then, coming to the point of the today's lecture, namely prana, concept of prana and the pranayama. Prana is the life source. These are the explanations given by the commentary of Ramakantha in the Sardha Trishati Kalottara Agama, which is very important Agama. There we have a detailed commentary of Ramakantha of Kashmir, who lived in the 9th, 10th century, and one of the Shaiva Siddhanta Acharyas. And he is a prolific writer, and he has composed commentaries on the Matanga Parameshwara Agama, Kirana Agama, and other independent texts. So here he gives the definition of the prana, explains what is prana. I am just giving you the English summary, not quoting the actual passage. The prana is the life source. As in Krishnamacharya, it is the energy that fully sustains the physical and mental bodies of all living beings. And this is prana, those are life force, basic life principle. There are 10 major conduits of energy, prana vahaha, in the physical body, which are known as nadis. And there are 10 major nadis, which are enumerated in the other texts. Yes. So, then this is the prana. Then what are the 10 pranas? Sardha Trishati Kalottara Agama says, Dasha Pranavaha Heta Nadyaha Parikirtitaha. So they are the 10 prana carrying the life source carrying conduits, namely prana, apana, samanascha, udano, vyanayevacha, nagaha, kurmotha, krikaro, devadatto, dhananjayaha, pranastu prathamo vayuhu, navanamapi sa prabhuhu. So there are 10 types, 10 pranas, and of which prana is the one. Apana, samana, udana, vyana, which are familiar to us. Apart from that, there are 5 more: Naga, Kurma, Krikara, Devadatta, Dhananjaya. And each one has its own function, which are explained in the other texts. And even here also, and the commentator Ramakantha explains them briefly. So the prana is the chief of these 10 pranas again. So here the prana in the special sense, and the prana in the general sense. Prana has put together all the 10 prana vahaha, the conduits, the source, the carrier of life force, of which the prana is the chief one. Then to explain prana, the Agama further states, pranaha, pranamayaha, pranaha, visargaha, puranam prati, nityam apurayatyesha praninam urasisthitaha. The prana is generally conceived to remain in the main heart of the living beings, urasisthitaha, and it fully spreads the life energy throughout the body. Puranam prati, it fully and spreads the life energy as well as visarga. So all the other activities of the physical body, namely evacuation and other things, are also performed by the prana. In fact, by the another aspect, namely apana and others, other vayus, prana vayus. And prana is that which finally departs from the body at the time when the soul, the self, when the self departs from the body at the time of death. It is prana that finally departs from the body. Prayanam kurute yasmat tasmat pranaha prakirtitaha. So these are the functions as well as explanation of prana. And the word prana is derived from the root an, to move, an, and pra is the upasarga, the preposition. So prana, that which moves well. So prana is it is a word which is very difficult to translate in any of the modern languages. So and prana, praniti is the verbal verb which is we find in the Upanishads and others. An with praniti, which pulsates with life, that which has life. So only the prana is the one that only when it remains in the body, the physical body is said to be alive. So when the prana is no more, when the prana has departed from the physical body, the body is a preta. So that is a dead one. So prana is such is the basic life principle. In that way only it can be translated in the other languages. So this is the further explanation. Prano vayuriti kyataha. It is the actually prana actually is a form of air, wind energy. Kyataha. Sacha samsara vartmani chaitanyena saha ekasmin abhibhagena lakshyate. So the self, the conscious self, the prana and the consciousness of the self, they remain together and they remain as inseparable. Abhibhagena lakshyate. In that way only, through the consciousness of the individual self and the prana energy, they function together, and all the physical and activities and mental all activities are done by the combination of these two, Chaitanya, the consciousness of the self, as well as the vayu, namely the prana vayu. They remain together and do all the functions. Then, so pranayama means tad gatehe sannirodho yaha pranayamaha sa uchyate. So the movement of prana, gati, in the body is controlled, sannirodha, well controlled. That is called pranayama, basically, and ayama, namely to control. So that is why it is called pranayama. To give more, to have more idea about the prana, Ramakantha in his commentary says, it is prana that transmits the energy throughout the physical body after digesting the food. Only when it functions, only when the prana functions, all other basic activities such as breathing, etc. take place. Just as buddhi, the intellect, is the source of all intellectual activities, prana is the source of all physical activities. And hence it pertains to the ahankara, the I principle of the individual self. So buddhi mainly with the intellect, and the prana is mainly with the activity, kriya aspect. So this is the basic importance of the prana, its functions. Then we have two major types of pranayama, sagarbha and agarbha in the agamas, and in the especially the Sarvajnanottara agama and other agamas deal with that. Sopi means sopi dhyana japopetaha sagarbhaha. So that pranayama which is accompanied by dhyana and japa of the mantra together, that is known as sagarbha. Anyaha, the other one, namely agarbha, is tadujjitaha, which is divide of dhyana and japa. So just the making the puraka, kumbhaka, rechaka, repeating that is the normal one, which is called agarbha. And sagarbha is the one with where we have the, along with the puraka, kumbhaka, rechaka, there is dhyana as well as the japa of the mantra. So that is called as sagarbha. And both of them have different benefits to the performer, which are all also enumerated in the text. Yatha sagarbha sthairiyaya manasaha na tatha itara. In order to control the mind, so prana stands at the juncture of the physical as well as the mental aspects. So only by controlling the prana, only by doing the pranayama, the mind is controlled. So when one wants to control the mind, one has to perform the sagarbha pranayama. Sagarbha manasaha sthairiyaya. In order to firmly establish the mind, in order to control the mind, one has to perform the sagarbha. Itaraha, the agarbha is mainly concerned with the physical aspects. So we derive physical benefits by performing the agarbha, while we get the control of the mind, other superior results by performing the sagarbha pranayama. So these are in brief the benefits of the two types of pranayama. Then 3 types of sagarbha. So sagarbha pranayama is further divided into 3 divisions. Uttama, Madhyama, Mandaha, Sagarbhaha, Trividha Smritaha. So the highest type, middle one, and the lowest one. And what is the method of doing sagarbha is explained in the same agama. Pranapanau samau kritva sushumnantaracharinau sayor vrittim nirudhyatma shivam dhyayeti vichakshanaha. So along with performing the pranayama, puraka, kumbhaka, rechaka, etc., and making the prana and apana both flow through the sushumna. Instead of the ida and pingala nadis, these two should be merged to flow through the sushumna nadi by these pranayama. Tayoho, the prana and apana's vritti, their modes, their functions are controlled. And through that Shivam Dhyayet, one and performs the dhyana of Shiva. That is called Sagarbha Pranayama. And this is one of the explanations we get from the Sagarbha Pranayama. Then Puraka, Kumbhaka, Rechaka, which is very much known, basis of the pranayama, known to all of us. And the agama gives the practical procedure to perform udaram purayitva tu vayuna yavad ipsitam pranayamo bhavet evam purako deha purakaha. So puraka, that is to fill up, from the root pur, to fill up. So entire the stomach, in fact, that is, I think the modern type, that is diaphragmatic breathing is very much advised. So this is to completely fill the the stomach, the sense, the portion below the lungs, up to the diaphragm, and full of vayu, where you cannot add more. So much you should be filled. That is called puraka. So, and that is called deha puraka. So one feels that as if the entire body from head to toe is filled. So this is purakam, that is inhaling fully to the full capacity. Then pidhayan sarvadvarani nishvasochvasa varjitaha sampurna kumbhavat tishthet pranayama sa kumbhaka. So each one, puraka, kumbhaka, rechaka, is also known as pranayama. And these three together, three activities put together is also known as pranayama. So puraka pranayama, kumbhaka pranayama, rechaka pranayama, we can take like that. So first the puraka, sampurna kumbhavat tishte. So as if a pot fully filled with water, whatever it is, up to the brim. So like that one should remain by filling the entire body with the air. That is called pranayamas kumbhaka. So to remain in that for some time. That is the time unit, etc. are explained in the further passages. And what are the main benefits obtained by the performance of the regular pranayama? The benefits which in the modern times on the yoga system, the yoga teachers teach, they are not included in the agamas, because their main concern is the spiritual advancement. So whatever one derives the physical benefits of balam, etc., they are also enumerated, but they are not so much given importance. So by the regular performance of the sagarbha pranayama, one achieves advancement in samadhi, and thereby he conquers the tattvas, which is known as tattva jayam. So the tattva jaya, these are all further advancements in the yoga practices in the Shaiva system. So the aim, the performance of the sagarbha pranayama is important, and it aids in the tattva jaya and samadhi, etc., the further advancements. So performing the agarbha type of pranayama, he becomes purified physically and mentally. So the agarbha, which is divided of the dhyana and japa, just puraka, kumbhaka, rechaka, of according to the one's capacity and the units which the agama explains further. So one attains the physical and mental purification. But the sagarbha is the very important one for the yogi, Shaiva yogi, where he has to finally aim to join Yujiri Yoga. So finally, the final one, he becomes united with Shiva. So that is dhyana and samadhi. So that is the supreme aim of the Shaiva yoga. And the Agora Shivacharya and Ramakantha and all of them, though they in their major parts of their explanation, they follow the Patanjali's explanation. They differ in the major difference between the Patanjali yoga and Shaiva yoga is Patanjali derives the word yoga from the verbal root yuj, giving the meaning yuj samadhav. So samadhi is the final supreme aim of the Shaiva, the Patanjali's yoga. Whereas in the Shaiva system, yujiri yoge. So there is another verbal root yuj, giving the meaning yoga. To get united, to be united. That is the main purpose of Shaiva yoga, and that is the difference. Whenever there are occasions, the commentators point out the difference between the Patanjali yoga and the Shaiva yoga. So that is one aspect. The time, namely matra. The time unit called matra is advised to be very important in performing the pranayama, both the agarbha and sagarbha. So what is the matra? The Sarvajnanottaragama gives the definition, the units value. Prasarya cha agrahasantu janum krutva pradakshinam chotikantu tato dadyan matraisha to abhidhiyate. One matra is defined as the time taken to make one circle around one's knee. One knee and a snap, the thumb, chotika. So by making that is called one matra. And Manam Tala Samyakam. So 12 such matras is known as one Tala. So yes, pranayama performed for a duration of 12 talas is the lowest type. That means 12 into 12, 144 matras. That is called the lowest type, Kaniyas. And Prem Pranayama done for 4 tala. 24 talas. That is the middle one. If the same pranayama is done for 48 talas, it is the best type, Uttama. So this is the, so much is the capacity of the yogi in the Shaiva system. So, so this is the one. Then the text, the Agama also wants one should gradually increase the timing, the unit by day, and they should avoid increasing it suddenly. So just to, so it gives you a warning. One should be, so in the yoga practice, everything is done gradually and slowly and with a full focus and attention. So this matra and this tala should be increased according to one's capacity and speed, and that is the 3 level grades. Adhama, that is Kaniyas, and Madhyama and Uttama. 12, 24 and 48 talas. A tala is a one unit, contains 12 matras. Then we have the Puraka, explanation about Puraka, Kumbhaka, Rechaka, how to perform this Puraka. Apuraye Samakrishya Bahirvayoho Swakamtanum Yavat Sarvangikam Vegat Swayameva Achalayate. As if one remains as a mountain, Achala, unmoving. So much one should fill one's lungs and the udaram, that is the entire tavat sampurako pranayama vidau sadmbhavat apurito ambasa tishte yavat shakti balam dhruvam. So just as you have a pot, a kumbha is fully filled with water, brimming with water up to the brim. So much in that way, the entire body should be filled with wind, the air, and remain as it is, and should not move. And sakumbhaka iti kyataha pranayamaha ati nischalaha. So there one does not move, shake one's body in the kumbhaka. And the Rechaka. Apadatalato bhuyah samakrishya Nasika Vivaragrabhyam Vinirniya Urdhvavartmana. So the Vayu is exhaled as if one takes all the Vayu, filled Vayu from the foot. Apadatalato bhuyah, from the foot, as if. So he should exhale in the sense with the mental, as if he is taking the wind from his entire body. from his toes. So through his nostrils, he exhales. That is got a rechaka. That is cleaning, giving out. So some of the some important points regarding the pranayama, as we find in the commentaries. I just give out a few of them, mention a few. There are, of course, many. And Aghora Shivacharya, in his commentary called Deepika, which is a sub-commentary on the Vritti, which is a commentary by Narayana Kantha on the Mrigendra Agama, Yogapada, states that he adds Narayana Kantha's Vritti is very explanative and elaborate. Still, Aghora Shiva adds some more points in his sub-commentary. He states that in order to draw, that is nivritti, the mind from its indulgence in various objects of the senses, which is in other words is the pratyahara. So the next pranayama, pratyahara, the next anga of yoga. So in order to achieve pratyahara, in order to perform well pratyahara, one has to master the pranayama, and pranayama is the basis, and one has to do perform pranayama in a very detailed and way, and one has to master the pranayama. Then only he can pass to the next anga, namely pratyahara, etc. The pranayama plays a very decisive role in controlling the mind, which is very much we are experienced that in our pranayama done very in a very basic way. There also we find the control, mind control, and pranayama is the basis for that. So that is the importance of pranayama in the yoga angas. So this is the explanation given by Aghora Shivacharya. Indriyartha samsargan manaso ya nivrittihi tat kila pranayama karanatvena ishyante pranadi jayadhi vashyata bhavati manaso vashyata. Only by controlling, only by having a full control of pranadi, prana, apana, vyana, etc. all the pranas, then only one can have the control of the mind. Sacha manasaha indriyarthebhyaha nivrittihi dharanadinam tatascha hetoho tat prana khedanam sarvasya dharanadehe moolam. So pranayama, prana khedanam, to control the pranayama is the all other basis for all other yogangas, and here that is one. Then we have the okay. Then there is a important concept of dharanas. 4 dharanas are very much important in the Shaiva tradition. Agneyi, Vayavi, and Maheshi, and another one. There are 4 dharanas which are performed, which can be performed only after the pranayama by mastering the pranayama. They are also explained, and they have their own many functions which I have presented the fruits derived by performing those 4 dharanas in another paper which I read some years back. So the Kiranagama, the Kiranagama gives a list of various benefits that one derives by performing this Agneyi dharana, Vayavi dharana, and Maheshi dharana, etc. So that is what. So in order to perform these dharanas, the pranayama is very essential. Now, the Swachanda Tantra. It is such an interesting agama tantra, so elaborate, so vast, and deals with every aspect of Shaiva, Shaivism, the rituals, the philosophical doctrines, and the yoga, and they are so detailed. So in there we find a very interesting one. The functions, the 5 pranas are mentioned. The functions, places, and various informations of all the 5 pranas, apana, etc., are detailed in the Swachanda Tantra 7th Patala. They are the Rechana, Purana, Rodhana, Suprashanta, and Udghata are the 5 pranas. And the verses, they explain in detail what is Rodhana, what is Suprashanta, and Rechana, Purana, etc. Which we do not go in detail. Just I give the information about the such detailed presentations, concepts of prana in the other text. And we have the Malini Vijayottara Tantram, and it has its own yoga one, but the basic of that is a very important tantra for Shaivism. And in its, that is a Yoganga Adhikara, is a separate Adhyaya, the 17th Adhyaya, which has many verses dealing with all important aspects of Shaiva Yoga. And these are all, yes. So this is to inform, give the, because these are all unexplored texts, unexplored informations in the modern times. And so this is the in brief of the Shaiva Yoga, as I glean a few gems from the ocean of Shaiva Agama Sagara. And with this, I think I can conclude my brief presentation. And I believe, I presume that my presentation was interesting and informative, and yoga jignasus and yoga practitioners enjoyed the my presentation, and got to know a few fundamental aspects of Shaiva Yoga, and especially the prana and the pranayama. And thank the organizers of the Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram for this wonderful opportunity, and all other online listeners as well as the viewers who participated in the presentation, my presentation. Thank you all. Shivam Bhavatu Sarvada. Shiva.
Let us while we thank our speaker, Dr. Ganesan, for leading us through this very daunting seeming ocean of the agamas and extracting gems for us to glimpse. Let us all turn on our videos for a moment, if you are comfortable, and have a group picture. And as we do this, let us collect any questions that we may have, collect our thoughts for questions that we may have. Once the picture is taken, I request participants to please raise your, use the hand raise feature for any question that you may have. At first, could I please request all participants to turn on video, please?
Thank you, Arvind. We are good to continue.
Thank you. Yeah, so we'll be glad to take questions. You may use the raise hand feature, or if you would prefer, post the question in the chat box as well. We'll call upon you in the orders. As we wait for questions, maybe I would, yeah, just a moment. Dr. Yogacharya, Dr. B. Soundaram, could you please unmute and ask your question, please?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. You said there are 2 types of pranayamas, agarbha and sagarbha, if I am right, if I remember rightly. Are you hearing me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Please continue.
Yeah. In agarbha, we will be doing the physical aspects of the pranayama, like inhalation, internal retention, bahya kumbhaka, antar kumbhaka, then rechaka, and bahya kumbhaka, all that. And in the sagarbha, we will be adding the japa and meditation. When we
Yes.
are adding this japa and meditation, is it practical to continue all these aspects together?
Of course, of course. So one has to master. So that is so here, along with the Puraka, Rechaka, Kumbhaka, which are physical, external physical acts of inhaling, etc. One has to be a master of one's mental power and concentration in order to do the japa. Japa in the sense mentally repeat. All the actions are done mentally, japa, mentally, and dhyana also. So that is by its very definition, it is some sort of advancement of the pranayama. So for normal persons like us, we may wonder whether such sagarbha performance is possible. But it is there, it is advised, and it is not only advised, it is prescribed for the Shaiva yogis. So he has to do, and they have been doing, and just because it is there, it was in practice, and that is why it has been included in the agamas and in the practice. Yes, very much possible.
Thank you.
One has to, I think, as my suggestion to my friend Sundaram, to try this sagarbha along with the jhana and mantra japa. That is let him try. Only by trial and by one's effort, one can see, and you may after some time feel that it is possible, even if it is done not in a perfect way, but at least you can.
Okay.
So,
today's lecture is it was acting like an inspiration to go from the physical aspects to the spiritual aspects,
excellent.
according to your
Exactly.
Shiva
Yes.
Agamas.
Sure.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
God
Thank you.
bless you.
That is the aim of Shaiva Yoga. So
yeah.
we going beyond the physical and vital air level to the spiritual level, adhyatma level. So that is the aim. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much to Arvind Iyer ji.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Soundaram. And as we wait for other participants, there's one question, which is you had spoken of how pranayama relates to the other angas in the Shaivagamas, especially pratyahara and various types of dharanas. Would you like to say something about before pranayama, what are some conditions, prerequisites that are expected in the Shaivagama? For example, in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, some mastery of asana is expected. So, tasmin sati shwasa prashwasayog gativicheda pranayama. The tasmin refers to mastery of asana there. So, in the Shaivagama, is there any entry criterion or prerequisites for practicing pranayama itself?
Yes. A very good question. And as the asana is a very basic and important one. One has to have a Sthira Sukham asana, as Patanjali says. One has a comfortable asana and posture to practice the pranayama and others. And so one have the agamas describe the four main asanas: swastika, padmasana, and some agamas, I think the Malini Vijaya or the Sardha Trishati Kalottarama, they explain the performance of asana very briefly. And I have another very important information which I am very sorry I have omitted. The Matanga Parameshwara Agama gives your question is so much that information is relevant. Just 1 minute, I will go to that section. So just a minute. No, sorry. The Karana, the Matanga Parameshwara Agama has 7 patalas in the Yogapada and so detailed, and the commentary of Ramakanta is a veritable source of Shaiva Yoga and such a treasure. And there we have this performance of Karana, which is in fact namely which is the asana. It gives the technical name Karana. So how one should maintain the physical posture, where, see, I just read out, the verses are so beautiful. I give you the gist of the verses. The Matanga Parameshwara Agama deals elaborately with, just a minute. Why? See, the Matanga Parameshwara Agama deals elaborately with the posture, which it calls Karana, in 6 verses, in which one performing, one has to sit, starts performing the pranayama. It is a picturesque description of the posture, and every limb one has to maintain. The legs, the toes, fingers, the neck, arms, back. These are how one should maintain these, keep the one's limbs, all these limbs in that karana, in that asana, and the object of eyesight. So what the eye should see, what the eyes, both the eyes should fix. So these are the detailed one it gives. And only here we find such a description. And the other agama, the other asanas are the 4 asanas, swastika, padma, and another I have forgotten. Of course, so the asanas are included, and the posture, and is the one should maintain in the Mataka Parameshwara Agama is so beautiful. The original verse is so good. And yes.
Thank you so much. Let's pause a moment for other questions if there are any. Dr. Soundaram, would you like to add something? You've messaged.
This is something as a continuation of my previous question. I was asking whether it is possible to, while doing the Agarbha pranayama and going to that higher level of Sagarbha, is it possible to, while doing the pranayama, whether we can add certain more things like japa and meditation? But I have been doing that when doing the pranayama. I'll be inhaling, thinking of the sukshma, adi sukshma Shiva mantra. Shivaya Shiva Shiva, Shivaya Shiva Shiva, Shivaya Shiva Shiva, Shivaya Shiva Shiva. Like that, we'll be counting. Shivaya Shiva Shiva, Shivaya Shiva Shiva, Shivaya Shiva Shiva, Shivaya Shiva Shiva. For these, while jumping on these 4 sections, I will be making my inhalation, and I will hold the breath inside, like for 4 times that. That is 16. Shivaya Shiva Shiva, Shivaya Shiva Shiva. Like that, I will come here. I'll come here and finish like this, and one more round like this. So during this time, I will be holding it, and on exhalation, I will be doing like this. Shivaya Shiva Shiva, 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 Shivaya. So 8 Adi Sukshma mantras I will be counting in my mind. This is something like Dr. Ganesan is telling. It is doing, this is a japa, repetition of mantra while inhalation, while holding the breath inside, and while making your rechaka. And I think I am in the 2nd stage, and now I have to go to the 3rd stage. That is, while doing the pranayama, we should go to meditation. But
Yes.
now I doubt, but if we try, we will reach that stage also. Thank you so much for
Yes,
patiently
yes.
listening to my information. which I have been doing.
Yes, yes. So yes, it seems you are already in the beginning of Sagarbha Pranayama. And
Yeah.
definitely, yes, yes, yes. Of course, of course.
I join the all those assembled here, and on behalf of the Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram as well, to thank our speaker, Dr. T. Ganesan, for guiding us through where pranayama features among the angas as outlined in the Shaivagamas, taking us parallelly along with the Patanjali Yoga Sutra as well, emphasizing the Yujir Yoge besides the Yuj Samadha aspects, and showing us not just pranayama in isolation, but also how it relates to the next phase, from Sagarbha Pranayama leading to mental mastery, leading to Pratyahara and Dharana, and so on. And also during the discussion, speaking of this notion of Karanas, on how the ground is laid, the preparation is so exquisitely guided in the Shaivagama as well. So we thank Dr. Ganesan. We are also grateful to all those who have joined us for the third session of the series this evening, on this Friday evening. And we look forward to seeing everyone again with friends in the next session in the series, which will be on Vaishnavagamas. We have heard about the Shaivagamas today. Tomorrow, the next series, which will be at 11:15 a.m. on Saturday, May 10th. The talk will be delivered by young scholar Shri Abhinav Kadambi, and that will be on the Vaishnavagamas. So we wish everyone a very good evening with thanks. Looking forward to seeing you at the next session.